your wealth. Lead from your wealth. We are going to welcome our lovely stick person. Just want to make sure it's in the right angle. There we go. You, beautiful you, with all your stuff. Okay. So, you've connected to your vision, right? So we've tapped into that, soul-aligned vision, which is up here, or your heart-aligned vision, or this deep knowing inside your belly of what you want. So first we get clear on the vision. What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? Right? So kind of waking that up. That's really our step one. Because even that step one, there can be a lot of confusion. Because we haven't been taught that it's okay to go for what you want, or we're scared, right, that if we go for what I want, we're not really calling in the right thing. So first we get connected to your vision, what you want and why you want it. So kind of your why. Okay, so that's step one, just getting clarity. So we've kind of got that, we've done that. So we've got the amount of money you're calling in, or you're ready to come into the mastermind, or you want it, right? So then the next step, so we've got that vision, Then what we need to do is claim it, right? This is really important. You need to choose it wholeheartedly. Do you hear my voice? Wholehearted decision, right? Where it becomes a full-bodied yes. You cannot, there's things you can manifest, but you won't let them land. So we need the wholehearted choice. This is another powerful step. So we've got the vision, and then we need to choose it. We need to really choose it. We need to claim it. So what happened for me for a long time, I was getting these visions. I could see, I'm very visionary, I could see it, but I wasn't fully choosing it. For all sorts of reasons. This is where we come into our money blocks. So the next step, we need to choose it. So I want to inspire you just to choose it. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, right? Immediately, what comes up? Immediate, when you choose it, I'm yes to living in Abundance Mastermind, yes to working with Lara for a year, yes to working with these amazing women, yes to following my soul's purpose, yes to manifesting money in alignment with, my true self, all of that. What comes up? Immediately, in a nanosecond, the thoughts, the beliefs, the fears, the anxieties. Oh my God. So what are you saying to yourself in that moment? So we need to then basically see the money blocks. But the most important thing I want you to get, and this is the tricky little, kind of sneaky little snake in this step, is you need to understand that that thought that comes in, right, is a belief, it's a pattern, it's a program. And you are creating your reality based on that. But what you need to do is catch it. We need to break that cycle and powerfully choose something else. This is where it becomes quite mastery level. You're like, there it is, that belief. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Whatever. Just catch it. Catch it, because that's the sneaky little slippery snake that's going to keep you bailing on yourself, keep you spinning your wheels. That's what we need to catch. And see it as a block, see it as a belief rather than the truth. That's the difference. It is the truth if you keep letting that part of you lead. So right now, with most of you, that is what is leading you, right? It's lack that is your leader. It's scarcity that is your leader. It is not enough that is your leader. And I would like to invite you to choose something different. But it's totally down to you. Right? So we have our blocks that we need to look at. The very first thing is just to witness them and see them for what they are. Be like, I've caught you. Oh, you sneaky little devil. There you are, right? And this is why I love money work, because without it, without actually getting crystal clear on what you want, without that strong, clear yes, it's quite hard to see how that slippery little snake is creating in your life. When you make the full, wholehearted decision, then boom, you see. you see what's been unconsciously creating you, unconsciously running you. Then we've caught it. Then we see it. Then we're like, no more. This is where you step into the heart and soul aligned leadership. Your heart and soul version of yourself, your wealthy version of yourself needs to get the reins out, right? We need to grab this part of you and start to lead it, right? Okay? So, and this part of you, the block, does not want to be caught out. It does not want to be caught out. So you need to be stronger, right? Become stronger than the block. So this is where this sort of determination, this focus is so important. It's like, I'm going to lead you now. No, I'm shifting this whole dynamic. Okay? So we catch it, we catch the block. And then what we want to do, there's all these steps, they do actually dance together. What the next step is, we want to start to release it. And you start to release these blocks by simply staying present with them. Be like, oh, that's an interesting story you're telling yourself. That's interesting. Right? Just staying present, being the witness, right? Is that true? Staying curious starts to naturally dissolve. It's one thing I learned as a healer. All I needed to do was stay present with my client, put my hand on their body and breathe with them, and eventually, and create safety for the body. And eventually the body starts to release. The body knows, right? It knows how to let go. But we need to create that safety. So we need to release these blocks, but with this safety piece is so important because we're in your survival fears. So it's a really interesting dance between being powerful and bold and clear and direct. And then we need to relax and let go. So the next step, what we're doing is we need to go into embodiment. And this is how we create safety, is starting to embody. We need to start to embody, as we did on day 3, and become the very thing that you're calling in, because we need to release this sever of separation. Everywhere your mind is telling you, right, like, I don't have enough money, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough, I am not enough, I am not worthy, I am not deserving, right? That's all I hear. That's all I hear when people say I don't have enough money, don't have enough time. I'm like, I'm not enough, there's not enough, it's not enough, right? And all I see is the void of lack. And I know how we fill it, but you have to choose it. You have to choose it, okay? So what we need to do is teach your body, teach your nervous system, right, how to start becoming the very thing that you want. We bring it into the now. It seems kind of like fluff, but it's very powerful. So we then choose it. We start to embody. Who are you when you're in the Living Abundance Mastermind, right? Who are you when you're manifesting money in alignment with your purpose, in alignment with your soul, in alignment with your heart? What is that version of you? Because that version of you also lives inside of you. She's just been shut down, suppressed, hidden, hurt, harmed, hiding. So we need to scoop that part of you up. And this is what this money manifestation is designed to do. Become the version of yourself that already has that amount of money. Who is that version of you, right? We need to wake that part of you up and start to feel, what does that feel like when you're held, right, in the safety and the support of the container of the mastermind, for example? What does it feel like, right? What does it feel like when you're held and supported by this money? Because we have so many stories about what that means, right? Based on past or based on someone else's story or belief. I can't tell you how many clients I work with, just the stories from the family lineage, right? The stories from the family lineage. Lack, scarcity, not enough. Super toxic. So we need to sink in and start to connect. And this happens when you feel safe. This happens when you're relaxed. This happens when you stop, get off that spinning wheel of not enough. You're like, all right, okay, let's connect, let's choose, right? But as soon as you start to drop in and start to embody, there are those money blocks again. Fuck me, that's painful, right? We're like, no. And there's a whole part of you that's saying, no, I don't want to go in. No, I don't want to go in. No, I don't want to do it. Blah. Because we're going through the pain portal. We're going through it. And as we're going through it, we're starting to feel, it's like, I call it sort of like defrosting trauma, where you're like, okay, I need to go and feel this thing that I shut down from a long time ago, and now it's time to feel, so I can finally dissolve. All you're doing is just feeling the feelings and like letting them go. Feeling the feelings, letting them go. Not letting the feeling run you, right? I'm a very emotional person. I feel feelings very, very deeply. Like, it's not about getting rid of them, right? We just honor them, right? We just honor them. And then they move through us. And then we drop in. And then we feel safe. Then we are grounded. And then you're embodying who you are. So we start to embody the version of yourself that has that money before the money's there. We start embodying the version of yourself that is in the mastermind, that is claiming it, that is doing the work before you think it's possible, right? And then, from there, yes, from there, then what starts to happen is you've relaxed, right? You've relaxed that trauma response, that survival instinct, and you started to open, right? You've started to open. So as you're embodying, you've got that vision, you've moved through some of those trauma cycles, you start to connect, you start to embody down here, you start to become it, you start to feel, right? And when you're embodying, you want to bring your intention into all of the senses through your body. So you want to bring it into the feeling, what that feels like in your body, right? What it looks like, so maybe sort of envision, right? Maybe you want to bring it to the senses. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? The touch, right? What is the touch? The materials that you're touching. We want to bring it into the senses. So we start to teach your body, I am safe to be wealthy. I am safe. I'm safe. I'm ready to claim it. Yes, this is my place. This is my place, right? And then from there, what starts to happen is all those like survival patterns that have been keeping you separated, we start to crack through the shell. So the cracking through the shell, imagine the sort of the pressure on the seed, right? So the seed is the seed of consciousness, and we plant it in the ground, and then there's this pressure that cracks the seed shell open. That pressure is that pain you're feeling. That when you're feeling that pain, you're like, I want to get the fuck out of here, right? I want to run away, I want to hide, I want to shut down. This is where if we stay with it, if you can stay with it and stay present with it, there's a crack, there's an opening, there's a releasing that eventually happens. And we start to, then the roots start to grow, right? We start to grow these new roots of strength, of resilience, of stability, of support, right? Structure beneath you. And we start to build that structure beneath you energetically through your embodiment, right? Right? As you start to grow, there's an energy that comes through your body, a highly intelligent energy that knows how to create, but it's not visible in the beginning. There's a wisdom that comes through you, and you have to give it space to come through. This is lead from your wealth. Your wealth will show you the way through. It knows how to grow. It knows how to grow. So eventually, the intelligence, the wisdom in these roots and shoots, these energetic roots and shoots, starts to communicate with life, starts to literally communicate with life. This is how it works energetically, all right? And it starts to basically from feeling safe and your nervous system being balanced, calm, and regulated, this information starts to inform your brain, right? Like, oh, and this starts to open. This starts to open. And then suddenly you start to see, this is when we think it's like magical manifestation. It's not, it's actually quite like scientific, really. It's not magical. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It's just you weren't able to see it before. Suddenly you see, with your yes, with your wholehearted yes, your mind opens, starts seeing possibilities. It starts catching where they are, right? That's focused with what you actually want. Have you noticed when you're in a bad mood, having a bad day, everything feels hard? And have you noticed when you're feeling in flow, having a good day, things feel quite magic? Have you noticed that? I remember when I was really miserable about living in London in the beginning, and I was having a bad day, I just look around like there's poo on the floor, there's rubbish everywhere, people disrespect this land, you know, and I'm like, everyone's miserable, right? Who is miserable? Right? And then on a day when I was feeling good, it was like, oh my God, the sun is shining and people are smiling at me. And wow, I just noticed that really beautiful thing happen over there. London was my most wonderful teacher for all of this, right? Because there's everything here. There's everything here. So, right? So we stay open. So we've got these roots and shoots that keep us safe and secure. It's grounding us. And then we open up, we start to see possibilities, right? We start to dance with life. We start to be open and receptive. So we start to receive. We start to receive. But as you're starting to receive, like this is where it's like, there's still those sort of those danger reactions that come up naturally in your nervous system, right? So I know, for example, when some women came to the mastermind, they were like, they've never been in a group of women before. And one of the big things was like, oh my God, I've never felt safe with women. And then coming in with all these women and then suddenly being for the very first time feeling so loved, so celebrated, so supported, right? It was like, whoa. But if that hasn't been your experience, like if you're bullied, for example, like that's quite life-changing. So this is it. So we're like about to step into something, right? The money or the mastermind, whatever it is. And immediately you're going to hit up against this natural thing like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Like, right? That, like, remember what happened, remember that, remember this. And so this is where we say, yeah, I hear you. I see you. Can I just breathe with you for a minute? Like, totally get that. It's all valid. But like, what if we just like sit and breathe with that and then keep tuning in? Like, down here is telling me a different story. I get that this was our past wound. Now, one thing that we need to do is learn how to hold this part of you. This is where we're starting to be the leader. How do we hold this part of you when it's freaking out? Because there's always going to be little freakouts. Anytime, like I'm dealing with this all the time as well. Personally, clients, like there's always going to be little freakouts that come up. We just need to catch them, right? And be the leader, be the heart-led leader. Like hold this back, right? So part of this is learning how to hold yourself in your wealth, hold yourself in your decision, and hold yourself when those old wounded parts of you start coming up. So we need to communicate this part and be like, hey, this is an unheld part of you. It's an unloved, unheld part of you that's not integrated into life. And you are now figuring out how to integrate all of you into life so you can step into your powerful leadership and your powerful ability to manifest. Look at this and say, hey, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need to feel safe? What do you need so you can soften and we can keep moving forward, right? Because right now you're really blocking. Like, I love you, but you're really not helping me. So we need to hold this with the deepest love. What do you need? So really like hold yourself and then identify your need. And this is the vulnerable bit, right? I need to feel safe. I need security. I need love. Maybe you need a massage or you need some holding so your nervous system can relax. So what do you need to basically, essentially to soften the fear response? And when this part is finally heard and finally held, maybe for the first time ever, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, when this part of you is held, it starts to relax. And within this part of you, within your money block, some magic, creativity, solutions, And then this becomes like a spark of creation. This unheld, unmet part that's been sabotaging you is actually saying, hey, hi, like I need some attention, right? And when we can figure out how to like hold and love this part of you, then it starts working with you and for you and giving you energy rather than taking energy. And this part of you becomes integrated, right? And starts living here with you. You start holding it. So one of the images I get is like, put this part of you in a sling like a little baby and just hold it. This part that's not been integrated, that's not been included. How do we hold this fear and be like, hey, just like with rocking a baby. I'm very good with babies, right? It's like, what do they need just to feel held and safe, right? What do we need to do to hold that little one, right? Help them feel safe in the world. Help them feel safe in the world. So you're safe and you're welcome, right? So when this part is integrated and it's held and relaxed, right? Then we come into this alignment. Alignment. So then we are aligned. We are then aligned. All of this can happen sometimes in a few minutes, by the way. Sometimes it needs longer. If you're really super triggered, you might need longer, right? Until your nervous system regulates, until you calm, until you balance. So I say never make decisions from fear. Never make decisions from scarcity. Never make decisions from lack. Calm yourself down. Come back to center. Tune in and listen. Because this wisdom is going to show you the pathway through. So once you get back into alignment, right, you stay open, you're like, all right, what's the next step? And this is when we get into aligned action. So what I see, right, because I've held space for this so many times. When you're shut down, your fear comes in, the doors close, and that's like, okay, cool, you're just going to stay in that cycle. When we're like, all right, I'm absolutely terrified. I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I say yes. I'm embodying, right? I'm aligning, I'm calming down the fears. And then it's like, all right, show me what is the next best step here? Essentially, how do I do this? What's the next step? And when we are open and receptive, that's when solutions start to appear, right? The doors open. So I've been saying to you all week, your yes is so powerful. You don't need to know how. In fact, you can't really know how. Not sometimes you know how, right? But the yes, when you feel relaxed, be like, oh my God, I see that possibility and that possibility. And suddenly you're showing up with solutions. Where there's a will, there's a way, if you absolutely have to, right? Like what happens if your dishwasher breaks or your washing machine breaks or whatever? You just make it happen because you value it enough, it's important enough to you. So solutions appear, right? From I don't have enough money or I can't afford it to, all right, if I say yes, or who or what can support me with this? And we start to ping ideas and solutions. And this is where sometimes someone from outside of you can suddenly come in. Right? But that requires vulnerability. That requires you to stay open. That requires you to stay receptive. It requires you to make decisions from a different place, from a place of deep listening. And what you need to do is develop a relationship with this part of yourself, a relationship of trust. That if I do this, right, I'll be safe and it will be okay. So those are the steps, my friends. Those are the steps. And it's a practice. And it is a daily practice. It's an ongoing practice. And just know that when you are on the brink of change, when you are on the brink of making a decision to change something, all of your survival fears are going to get very activated. So people saying yes to Living Abundance Mastermind, most people are freaking out a little bit. Sometimes it's a very clear yes, and it's just like, it's fine and it's time. But for some people, it feels like a huge thing. And just know that that's when all the fears come up. Just on the moment, right? Just that moment when you're about to make that decision that's going to change everything, that is when your fears and everything just starts screaming. And this is the moment where most people pull back and most people withdraw. And this is why I'm calling on the leaders, calling on the entrepreneurs, calling on the business owners, because you guys are a bit more crazy courageous than your average person, right? We're going to lean into that and take a risk and see what happens. Let that transform you. Let that moment transform you. It's an activator. It's an initiation. And so this is how your business is an initiation. Money is an initiation. Everything that you're calling in is here to initiate you into a new level of being, a new level of experience. I want you to come in and get clarity on what's going on. What is stopping you, blocking you from embodying your next level of frequency? This is a free call. It's completely free, right? This is for those of you who take self-responsibility. You know that you need to go and feel that discomfort to step into your dream life, right? You've got some foundations in place. You're already qualified, good at what you do. The goal of this call is clarity, right? I just want you to see. I want you to know what's going on. We get super clear on what your soul aligned vision is, right? That wealth frequency. We get really clear on what are you saying to yourself? What are you thinking? What are you speaking? What's going on? What is your current reality? We're going to look at it with love so you can see what is going on. I want you to see what is unconsciously creating in your life at this time. We are going to help you identify, really know what's blocking you from receiving at the next level. So we need to hold a safe space for you, really beautiful space. And then we'll really tune into what the next best steps are. So then you go to larawaldman.com/breakthrough. You book the best time for you. If you cannot find a time, please message me. Send me a DM, send me an email. We'll find a time if you can't find a time in the calendar that works for you. Fill in all of the details, answer all of the questions so I know where you are and what you're calling in.